Hey guys, RTO here. So in today's video, we're actually going over my current build for patch 10.4. So far, this build has felt really nice, and I've been running it a lot, and having a lot of success with it as well too. I think right now, currently on the land server, I'm making a unranked to rank 1 series, and currently my win rate is 24 wins and 2 losses. So we're having a very good win rate so far into it, and I've been spamming one build only, and I've had so much success. So I'm going to show you guys right now. Also in this video, I want to show you guys some other things too, like basically some preview of patch 10.5, where they're releasing all new items and also a new Renekton skin. So let's check it out, guys. All right, so first things first, guys. When it comes to the build that I love building right now, first item I always like to get is the T-Mat. I think T-Mat is still crucial on Renekton, and it's just such a great item. Not only does it scale really well as the game progresses, because it goes off of your total attack damage, but it also gives you the active proc as well. So when you go in there, do your full combo on somebody, you can literally proc that active as well too, and just do even more burst damage. So it's a very good item. It gives you a lot of wave clear, and it gives you base health regain, so really good for laning phase, having constant sustain throughout the laning phase itself. And like I said, it does scale very well, because if you look at how the cleave and the crescent actives work, it works off of your total attack damage. So like the cleave is 20% to 60% of total attack damage. Then obviously the crescent, which is your active, is 60 to 100% of your total attack damage. All right, so the next thing I want to go over, guys, is Black Cleaver. This item that I've been really going with next. In the past, I was actually doing a T-Mat into Youmuu's Ghostblade. I was spamming that for a very long time, but I'm starting to realize something, that with the new Conquer and with really how top lane is right now, it's starting to turn more into a tankier meta kind of fight, especially with that Sunfire changes. A lot of guys are building way more beefier, and Youmuu's are just not having the success. Not saying I can't go in there with that T-Mat Dirk and still go up there and still nuke that tank, but soon enough, when he gets that Sunfire complete and all that, I'm getting out-traded, and I'm getting very hard out-traded. So what I've been more preferring is going Black Cleaver, so I have some kind of armor shred for that character. And then on top of the fact that Black Cleaver in itself, it really makes it to where, like, once you have the item finished, it just gives so much time. It really does. 3,000 gold. Okay, for 3,000 gold, you get 400 health, 40 attack damage, 20% cooldown reduction, and obviously that armor shred that everybody loves, boys. 24% of armor shred be totally taken off. Okay, and then obviously the Phage proc, which is probably my favorite thing about the entire thing, because it allows you to stick onto the targets even more. Renekton does not want to get kited, so it's a very good anti-kite item overall. So again, I love the item. Building into it feels kind of awkward. I feel like Phage and Kindle Gem in itself is really not that good. They cost a little bit. They really don't do much damage. And at this point in the game, you want to do damage. So you want to try to get this Black Cleaver as soon as possible. But obviously, once you have that Black Cleaver with the T-Mat, you start winning a lot of 1v1s very hard. All right, and to add on to that 1v1 prowess, I've been building Youmuu's next. I like Youmuu's. I love this item. I've loved this item for the longest time, and nothing's really changed here. The only major difference is I've kind of swapped these items out. Instead of going T-Mat Youmuu's Black Cleaver, I'm now going T-Mat Black Cleaver Youmuu's. One thing that I love about Youmuu's is really the build path. All right, so Dirk itself, they actually buffed not too long ago and made it go from 25 AD to now 30 attack damage. So it just does insane amount of damage. And I feel like the build path for Youmuu's feels so good that once you have that Black Cleaver, and then let's say you have like half of a Dirk, or well, you have a Dirk already finished, but not the Warhammer, you get so much extra damage on top of it because of the Black Cleaver armor shred and all that CDR that Black Cleaver gave you. Now you're adding in 10 extra lethality and 30 extra AD on top of it. It just really starts to add up on the damage. Now in itself, guys, Youmuu's, when it's completed, it gives a lot of stats, guys. 55 AD, so it's a lot more attack damage with all the armor shred. 10% cooldown reduction. Again, we always want to cap out our cooldown reduction. I want to emphasize that, boys. If you're not doing this build and you're doing some other crazy build, make sure you get that CDR completely capped out. All right, 40% always. On top of it, guys, 18 lethality, and then probably my favorite thing about this item as well is, and again, I'm all about not getting kited. So you run the active proc, which gives you 40. It gives you 20 movement speed, ability to move around through units for 6 seconds. Really talk, guys. It's whenever you get on top of a target and they try to flash whatever, you can proc that Youmuu's and probably just run them down and just basically complete kills. Also, if they have some kind of CC, you get stunned or indicator starts kiting you out, you might be able to use that Youmuu's to get right back on top of them and get that kill. And once you kill an AD carry, Who knows what's going to happen, especially in the mid game, because that's about the time you'll probably get the Black Cleaver Youmuus, around my guess, 18 to 24 minutes, depending on how fed you start to get. All right, so after this is where the build gets a little different. All right, this is where a lot of things have changed from, I believe, my last video I've done until now. A lot of things change around this part. I used to go a lot more just more AD centric, or I'll start building more beefier. It's somewhat beefier, but also a lot more damage, but not that much AD, really, like, at all. I actually don't get any more AD in my build the rest of the way out. And I'll show you guys what I mean. All right, so first things first, I feel like League of Legends right now, the most broken things about it is Conquer and healing. Healing is very, very broken. What I was doing in the past, especially the start of Season 10, I was going Mortal Reminder almost every single game to try to negate that a little bit. But I feel like I was doing a decent amount of damage. If I go in there, I might kill one guy and I'll just instantly die. But what I've decided to change around, that's worked out very well for me, and it might for you guys as well, is I've been going Bramble Vest. Basically, Bramble Vest on that next item slot. Gives 35 armor, then obviously if they hit you guys, which they're going to want to hit you. Obviously, they're going to want to, or else you're going to keep running them down. So if they hit you, they actually procs Grievous Wounds, and if they got a Soraka, if they got a Youmuu, if they got Conquer, guess what? You've just negated a lot of that healing, all because of one little item that you bought. All right, this is good versus not only AD guys, but even AP guys. Even versus, like I say, a Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser hits you, guess what? You still proc Grievous Wounds, so armor might not be super good versus him, but just proccing that Grievous Wounds can change the entire fight. And if anybody hits you guys, let's say their entire team hits you, and let's say you go down for whatever reason, at least you've made it to where everybody on their team has Grievous Wounds, and your team can probably turn around all because of that. All right, so you kind of turn to more of a supportish role with the Bramble Vest, and it does help you stay alive a lot better too. Again, 35 armor, that is a lot. That is a decent amount considering it's only 1,000 gold. It's only 1,000 gold, so I do like this item quite a bit. Now, one really cool thing about Bramble Vest that I love, that a lot of people really didn't think about on Conquer release, but I definitely did, because you know me, guys. I'm always theory crafting. All right, so let's say you get Conquer fully stacked. You've got 10 stacks of Conquer. You've already got it completely stacked. And all you got to do really is just E in there, one auto attack, Empower W, boom, you've got your stacks for Conquer. It's completely stacked at that point. If they hit you, let's say they auto you for like whatever damage, say they auto you for 100 damage, just out of curiosity, 100 damage auto attack. Basically, what the Grievous Wound is going to do, the Bramble Vest, is going to make it to where 3 plus 10% of your bonus armor, and again, all that armor you stack with Tabbies, and then obviously finish it with Thormel later in this game, it's going to make it to where they're going to take a lot of damage back. All right, if you got your Conquer fully stacked, one little fun thing that I like is when they hit you, guess what? You're actually healing some of it back because your Conquer is doing damage right back to them. So it's just little fun snippets about this build that really can make you be kind of a raid boss in a team fight as the game progresses. It's a major important item for that, side of the game. All right, so the next thing I want to go, guys, is actually go a completely different route. I don't like to finish Thormel next. I don't think it gives that much more value compared to this next item. And this next item, guys, it's a fun little item that I've been building. Wits In. It's Wits In. Yes, guys, I know y'all been memeing about Wits In for the longest time, but there's a lot of reasons why we're building this. For one, there is a decent amount of magic damage in the game. Like I said, Mordekaiser, that is a very fun pick right now in the top lane currently right now. Almost every mid laner is building AP mages because that's kind of a thing, building more caster routes. And then obviously just any kind of AP damage going on the field, Wits In will help with that. Now, I want to emphasize how much I like this item. Even when they've got a full 80 comp, I still want to build Wits In so bad. I typically don't, but gosh, do I want to, because I think the value of the Wits In proc, the movement speed and the attack speed is just incredible. I'm going to explain why real quick. So, basically, with all that attack speed, it gives you 50% attack speed, 50 magic resist, 5% movement speed. Again, I'm always about anti-kite. Wits In has that movement speed. I want to have some attack speed in my kit. This gives you 50% attack speed, which is one of the highest in the entire game of an item in itself. The 50 magic resist only helps you even more versus any AP champs that might hit you. Because now we got a little armor with Bramble Vest, possibly even Tabbies, and then going to finish with Thormel later on the road. We want at least some magic resist, and this definitely gives you that option. All right. Now for the unique passive, and what I love about this item is it deals 15 to 80 magic damage on hit. All right. So why is that good on Renekton and say not good on some of the champions? Well, because our Empower W. Our W is a game changer for this item. Basically, if you do your auto attack and your Empower W, you proc it 4 times just off that before they get any kind of auto attack back off you. You're talking, let's say you're level 18, you've got 80, 80, 80, 80, That is 360 extra damage right there, all because you did an auto empower debut. I think that's right. 380, might be 320. I think it's 320. Okay, 320, doesn't matter. 320 extra magic damage on hit. Yes, it's magic damage as well, and that's also a huge fact as well, because people think that, especially 80 carries and a lot of people out there, they think, oh, if I split armor, I'll be good to go versus that Renekton. But if you have that Wits In, all of a sudden, you're doing insane amount of magic damage too. And guess what? Because of how New Conquer works, it heals off 15% of all damage that you deal. So that can be physical damage, that can be true damage, and that can be magic damage. So that 320 extra damage with the Wits In proc, guess what? That only heals you even more from the Conquer. And if you are, let's say you're at half health, guess what? Now Wits In heals for 100% of the damage it does. Again, you have Grievous Wounds, so it hits you. You hit them, all of a sudden you're healing for insane amounts, and you're really hard to take out, especially once you get about half health. This item really does the trick. A lot of people on my stream are always wondering like how I'm doing so much damage. It's because the Youmuu's Black Cleaver obviously gives me a lot of physical damage. So if they do have some kind of armor, all of a sudden I have Wits In, I'm still doing a lot of damage to people. I feel like as the game goes on, I scale pretty well as the game goes on too, and I transition so well into that late game because of items like Wits In and the Bramble Vest. All right, so basically to round out my build, I go out and I get a Thornmail. I just finish the item. I think it's still a good item. I just typically like to get Wits In if I can first, because I feel like the value of a finished Wits In is disgusting. All right, so with Thornmail itself though, again, you're adding another 250 health on top of it, and then I think another extra... What is that, 45 extra armor? Yeah, I think about 45 extra armor. And then obviously now the Thornmail proc gets even stronger. It's now 25 and plus 10% bonus armor. And now also procs Cold Steel, which makes your attack speed is down by 15% for them attacking you. And again, they're going to have to deal with you while you're healing up so much. So you just start to round out your build. And then last but not least, I like to finish off my team mat with a Titanic Hydra. And this is really, I like to finish my build off like this. It gets 450 health. And again, the more health that you have, the faster your Wits In procs at about half health. So again, just stacking that health up, guys. Having even more burst. I feel like Titanic does have more of a burst than the Ravenous Hydra. And yeah, that's just the route that I like to go, guys, for this build. All right, so now let's, we talked about my current build, why I like it so much. Well, actually, let's go over the runes. All right, so you guys see the build that I have. You're going to notice that I have 30% cooldown reduction in the build. So this is really what I'm running currently in Season 10, patch 10.4. I'm going Conquer, Triumph, Legend Tenacity, Last Stand, Overgrowth, and Bone Plating with Scaling CDR. Again, I'm doing that Scaling CDR to get my 40%. Now, there's two routes that you can go with this build. You can go this route, or you could even go Sorcery. Instead of running Scaling CDR, you can actually just go, let's say, attack speed here, and get Transcendence, Nimbus Cloak, to get your 40% cooldown reduction with Transcendence, and then Nimbus Cloak. Again, two different routes that you can go. It's your choice there. Now, the next thing I want to go over is basically the changes that are going in 10.5 and what impact that can make for next patch's build. All right, so let's get right into it. Let me bring it on over. So this is basically some of the items that are being changed. So first things first, Blade the Rune King is getting a major buff. It's a major buff for Renekton mains out there. They're making it go from 8% of the target's current health to 12%. That is a massive buff. But a lot of people in chat being like, wouldn't that be a big buff to like Callista, Lucian, all these guys who like to build Boric? No, because it only does it to melee champions. So it's like only Renekton, the Tryndamirs, guys that might want to build Boric will use it. And I really, truly believe Renekton uses Blade the Rune King better than any other melee champion in the game. I've been staying away from this item because I've told people on stream I think it's too pricey, being 3,300 gold and only given 8% of target current health. Now with this change though, this makes a big difference, guys, in my build. And there's a very good chance that I want to replace that with possibly Wits In or some other item, but I definitely want to start using this item. Another thing to keep in mind is Boots of Swiftness. I know it's nothing crazy. It's only like 5 extra speed. They're trying to make it more viable. We'll see about that, guys. We'll see if we can try to implement this build. Again, that does give some speed, and I'm all about not getting kited. But I do put a lot of value into Merc Treads and Tabbies, so until otherwise, guys, keep going Merc Treads, Tabbies. That's way too good of a, just way too good. Also, another big change that could relate to Renekton is Death Dance. They're changing the build. It doesn't show all the effects on here for some reason. They're changing the build. I don't know if it's going through for 10.5. It might go through on 10.6, and we'll see. But if they do make the change in 10.5, basically what they're doing is they're lowering the AD from 80 attack damage to 60, but they're making it have armor and magic resist. 30 armor and 30 mag resist on top of this item, which means it's very good for bruisers, like super good with bruisers. Now, again, you're going to want to maybe include this in the build if they make that change, but it really depends. It really depends. I'm going to test this item out a lot. I do think champions with shields will be even better with it, like possibly even Riven. Yeah, just champions with shields. Champions should be really good with the new Death Dance when they make that change, but even Renekton can abuse it with some builds. Now, some other big change that I like as well is they're changing Ravenous Hydra and they're changing Titanic. So they're making Ravenous go from lifesteal of 18% from 12%. Big boost, guys. That's 6% more lifesteal. And now Ravenous Hydra works in itself. And I can show you what it says on the tooltip real quick. All right, so we get to Ravenous Hydra right here. Oh, that's the wrong item. All right, so Ravenous Hydra, basically the passive. If you look at the first pass that pops up, 50% of total lifesteal applies to damage dealt by this item. So again, you're buffeted by 6%, and that's just extra lifesteal. Now, also your Ravenous Hydra's the AoE effect is now going to be healing up 50% as well normally, but it only gets up by 6% even more on top of that because of that buff. So that is a pretty big buff to Ravenous Hydra. It makes it where it heals out insane amounts. So definitely keep an eye on this item. Another thing is too is Titanic Hydra's getting buffed too. The pretty big buff. They're actually buffing the damage of it, making the burst even higher. So typically it was at 5 to 1% of your max health every time you auto attack. Now it's 5 plus 1.5% of your max health. So that's a pretty big buff. And then also the active got buffed too from 2.5% of your max health to 3% of your max health. So really good for tanks, guys, and really good for beefier Renektons like this build that I've done here. Right, so basically, I'm going to go through you a format of what I'm planning on going next patch. Basically, this is the mindset that I have going into 10.5 that I'll try out pretty much day one. And that first thing is going to be going T-Mat, like always. Now, going from the T-Mat, do I want to finish T-Mat early or finish T-Mat later? I'm still probably going to go T-Mat into maybe Black Cleaver, just get my CDR first. But after that CDR, though, there's a very good chance that you're going to want to finish that T-Mat afterwards. We will see on that one. Next time you want to go is the Black Cleaver. And I'm still going to want to get that Black Cleaver, guys. Again, the CDR is really, really nice. Try to get it capped as fast as possible. Now, the next item gets a little different here. This is where I'm looking at probably going Blade of the Ruin King. I want to get this item soon, and it does scale even better the more armor penetration that you have. So getting that Black Cleaver is only going to make that 12% of current health do even more damage because it is based off physical damage. So yeah, I definitely want to try to include this build in this item into my build. For sure, for sure, for sure. Right now, the next item I'm looking at getting is probably finishing the Ravenous Hydra here. Again, I think it's a pretty big buff, and I want to emphasize on more of a healing Renekton style build this patch. So now it's going to be 18% even more lifesteal, and you got lifesteal from Boric, so just insane amount of lifesteal. And just to cap it off, guys, if you're going to have more of a lifesteal style build, I want to go with a Spirit Visage. Yes, guys, Spirit Visage. All it does is increase all healing received by 30%. So that amps up your Q, that amps up your Boric, that amps up your Ravenous Hydra. All those things start to get amped up because of Spirit Visage. And again, you guys see how I'm starting to go more of a healing route. I guarantee you other champs are going to think the exact same thing. So a very high value item is still going to be that Thornmail. So yeah, I'm still going to want to get that Thornmail. Now, don't be surprised if I try to get Bone Vest a little bit earlier in this build, but this is just a generic idea of a build that I'm looking at getting going into, what's that, season 9. Going into 10.5. So keep this build in mind. I'll let you guys know in a future video of my experience with the build so far and how good it's doing. But hey, if you guys have any ideas of builds, comment down below what you guys have in mind. And hey, I might just give it a shot and see how good it can be on my Renekton. Anyways, guys, make sure y'all comment, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Deuces, boys.